Good. Another thing that students ask me is, I'm trying to change my body type, meaning I like my weight, but maybe I want more lean muscle. Or maybe I'm a runner and I don't want to lose weight, but I want to fuel my body appropriately so that I get stronger and have more muscle. Or maybe I'm a bodybuilder or just want to lift weights and gain more muscle. How do I eat to fuel muscle building or lean body mass, those types of things?
It's a tricky question because, again, every body is different, right? And it's hard when we're, obviously, our body composition is going to change and we can visualize that sometimes, but not always. And so it can be a little bit more challenging where we're not seeing progress and then we get derailed. But something that I really recommend is getting more quality fats, which are going to reduce inflammation. So when we can reduce that inflammation, it's also going to help to reduce fat storage. So especially if we're trying to lean out, then we don't want that extra inflammation in the body or, additional fat. Not that fat is bad, but obviously that's going to be changing our composition. And also another one is reducing, especially processed carbohydrates. Sugar is going to eat away at our muscles, and so that's going to result in more muscle loss, right? Where it makes it more challenging to build up that muscle. And so having something that is more, like I talked about, bread as for a sandwich as an option, rather than having like a pretzel bun or something that has a ton of, vegetable oil or something like that on it. It might be having more of like a sprouted bread or a sourdough bread or a bread that has more nuts and seeds or grains in it, because that's more of a whole real message, right? And so looking at it not as anything is bad, but more good, better, best spectrum. And so good would perhaps be, a bun that has vegetable oil and more pro-inflammatory ingredients and refined sugar and stuff in it. Better could be something that was maybe just like a white bread, and best would be more like a sourdough or a sprouted bread. So that we're just looking at how do we not have to make all these drastic changes, but how do we choose better ingredients that are going to reduce that inflammation and help to improve our body composition. And again, let our body utilize that food as information to say, oh, hey, we could build muscle. Like, we're not eating away at the muscle. So sometimes it's just simple switches, but I do think a lot of it comes down to balancing meals and snacks. So making sure that anytime you have a carbohydrate, you want to have it with a protein and or a quality fat. So I think about it kind of as this jar and lid approach, which Kathy, you've heard me talk about many times. But I think of carbs as a jar. And so if we have an empty jar and we were to put vapor gas in it and there's no lid, that gas is going to escape. So if we eat carbs on their own, that turns into sugar, which leads to insulin output, and that insulin leads to fat storage and inflammation. So it's a vicious cycle that can lead to disease states. So putting the lid on it with the protein and the quality fat seals the deal, slowing down digestion and absorption. So your blood sugar is more like speed bumps as opposed to mountains and valleys. And that's going to help to reduce the fat storage. It's going to help to reduce the inflammation and reduce muscle loss as well. And then obviously, if you can get the vegetables in, I kind of call that the ribbon. That's the last component to make that a little package deal. And the ribbon or the vegetables are providing the antioxidants that will help to also reduce inflammation and improve upon composition changes.
Great. So what I'm hearing is that if you're trying to build muscle, that you don't necessarily have to load up on protein post-workout and do the 10 to 20 grams. It's more about balanced snacks that have carbs, protein, vegetables, etc., fruits, mm-hmm. in each snack, in each meal, and eating a healthy diet throughout the day versus, oh my gosh, I got to get my protein in. I got to get my protein in. Is that true?
It is. And because if we have too much protein, our body can just convert that extra protein to sugar. And so eventually then that can just be adding to the muscle loss, because remember that sugar can eat away at our muscle. So it's all about balance, right? Life is all about balance. So much easier said than done. But it does, it's really important that we're incorporating all of those components through the carbs, the protein, the quality fat, and the vegetables. And the quality fat is one that I like to really hone in on, because I think a lot of us are fearful of fat, and thinking that fat is going to lead to fat on our body, when in fact, it actually, if it's good quality sources, which I will provide my handouts that will list out the quality fats. Those are the ones that reduce inflammation and then therefore help to reduce fat. So it does really just come down to food is information, not just the calories.
Great. Before we conclude our little athlete segment, do you have anything else you want to include in this particular topic?
I don't think so. I feel like we covered a good amount of it.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to Jessica today regarding athlete needs nutritionally. And we're going to close this one out and go on to the next segment. Thanks, Jessica.
Uh-huh.